Imagine waking up tomorrow thinking your immigration plans are set and everything changes overnight. That's exactly what Congress just did. New rules, new restrictions, new opportunities depending on where you stand. Families are confused. Applicants are panicking. Some could get approved faster. Others could face months of delays. And nobody is talking about the hidden deadlines that could cost you your chance entirely. You've done the paperwork. You've waited. You've hoped. But what if all your plans are suddenly at risk? What if the steps you thought were safe are now obsolete? And the worst part, many people won't even realize the change until it's too late. So, how do you protect your application? How do you make sure your family stays together? And what is the single most crucial move you need to make right now before it's too late? In this video, you'll get the full breakdown of the big immigration changes of 2025. I'll explain exactly what's different, how it impacts applicants and families, and the critical steps you must take immediately. By the end, you'll know how to safeguard your future and avoid mistakes that could cost years of waiting. And that's just the beginning. Up next, I'll reveal the insider tips and lesser-known rules that most people miss, tips that could make the difference between approval and rejection. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change your immigration journey forever. So let's dive in, because what just happened with these immigration changes is bigger than most people realize. If you're sitting there thinking, okay, this doesn't really affect me, I promise, it probably does in ways you haven't even considered yet. These changes aren't just technical updates buried in legal jargon. They're life-altering shifts that affect timing, eligibility, family unity, and even your sense of stability. And let's be honest, stability is everything when it comes to immigration. You don't just plan for yourself, you plan for your kids, your spouse, maybe even your parents. Suddenly, all the careful planning is under threat. The first thing I want you to understand is that these changes touch almost every aspect of the immigration process. We're talking about updates to visa categories, new documentation requirements, and adjustments to how applications are processed. Some of these are designed to streamline approvals, which sounds great at first, right? But the reality is more complicated. For some applicants, these changes mean a faster path to approval. For others, it introduces delays and additional hurdles that could catch people completely off guard. Imagine thinking you have months to submit your paperwork and suddenly finding out you're working against a much tighter deadline. The stress, the uncertainty, it's real, and it's something you need to prepare for now. Now, let's talk about families. Immigration isn't just paperwork. It's about people. It's about who gets to be together and who might be separated because of something completely out of their control. Families who thought they had a smooth path to reunification may now face new conditions, new waiting periods, or even stricter proof requirements. It's heartbreaking to see people who have waited years to be with their loved ones suddenly hit with barriers that feel almost insurmountable. But here's the thing. If you know the rules and you act strategically, you can navigate this and keep your family together. That's exactly what I want to help you with in this video. One of the biggest surprises for many people is how these changes affect eligibility timelines. Certain visa categories now have revised waiting periods, meaning that applications which used to take 1 year might suddenly take longer, or in some cases, shorter. That might sound confusing, and it is, but it's manageable if you understand the specifics. The key is knowing which category your application falls under, and what these adjustments mean for your exact situation. And that's why watching this video all the way through is so important. I'm going to break it down in a way that's simple and actionable, so you're not left guessing. But it's not just timelines that have changed. There are also new documentation requirements that many people aren't expecting. These aren't just nice-to-have forms. They're essential, and missing even one can jeopardize your entire application. Think of it like building a house. You can't skip the foundation and expect the whole structure to stand. That's why preparation is everything. Knowing exactly what to prepare, how to organize it, and how to submit it correctly can mean the difference between approval and rejection. And I promise, by the time you finish this video, you'll have a clear sense of what that preparation looks like. I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds overwhelming. I don't even know where to start. And honestly, that feeling is completely normal. Change like this is intimidating. But here's the silver lining. Knowledge is power. Once you understand what's changed, you can take action with confidence. You can make sure your application is strong, complete, and up to date. You can avoid costly mistakes that might have otherwise set you back months or even years. And the truth is, taking those steps sooner rather than later makes all the difference. Another point I want to emphasize is that some of these changes were designed with speed in mind. That means if you act quickly, you could benefit from faster processing times. But the catch is that speed isn't automatic. You have to meet all the new requirements precisely and submit your application in the correct way. Think of it like catching a train that's leaving the station. If you're late or don't have the right ticket, you miss it. And I really don't want you to miss this train. That's why it's so important to understand every single adjustment in detail. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what that means in real life terms. And here's something people don't always realize. These changes aren't just temporary. Some of them are permanent shifts in policy. That means if you wait, you might find that the process you were counting on no longer exists. For applicants who thought they had years to prepare, this is a wake-up call. For families, it's a reminder that the window to act can close faster than expected. That sense of urgency is real, but it's also something you can use to your advantage. Being proactive now means less stress later, and it gives you a clear path forward in a system that can sometimes feel unpredictable. I also want to touch on something deeply personal here, Hope. Immigration can be exhausting, emotionally draining, and at times discouraging. You spend years planning, waiting, and hoping for a better future, and any change to the system can feel like the rug has been pulled out from under you. But even with these big changes, hope is not lost. In fact, acting with the right information can make all the difference. You can protect your application, speed up your process, and ensure that your family stays together. That's why this isn't just a video about rules. It's a roadmap for peace of mind. Let's be real for a moment. Many people will watch this video and feel a pang of anxiety. They'll worry, am I doing everything right? Will this affect me? And that's exactly why I want you to stick with me. Because what I'm going to share next isn't just theory. It's practical, actionable, and designed to give you clarity in the middle of all this uncertainty. We're going to go through exactly what's changed, what that means for you, and the critical steps to take immediately. Now, here's a part that's really important, and I can't stress this enough. Timing is everything. Even a small delay in submission, a missing document, or misunderstanding a new requirement could create a domino effect that delays your application significantly. And I know that sounds scary, but here's the empowering part. Once you know exactly what to do, you can act confidently, avoid mistakes, and move forward faster than many people realize. That's why I want you to treat this information like a toolkit. Everything you learn here is something you can apply immediately to protect your future. And speaking of tools, I have to tell you something most people don't know. There are insider tips and strategies that can make your application stronger and reduce stress. Little adjustments in the way you present your documents, the order you submit them, or even how you phrase certain statements can have a surprisingly big impact. These are the kinds of details that most people miss until it's too late. But by staying tuned, you're giving yourself an edge. You're positioning yourself to succeed in a system that often feels overwhelming. And before we move to the next part, let's take a moment to recap why this matters so much. These changes aren't minor tweaks, they're significant shifts that could affect your timeline, your family, and even your ability to stay in the country legally. But the good news is, with the right knowledge and action plan, you can navigate these changes successfully. You can protect your application, make informed decisions, and ensure that your family stays together. That's the kind of clarity and confidence I want you to walk away with today. Finally, as we transition into the next section, I want you to keep this in mind. The steps you take today set the tone for your entire immigration journey. The sooner you understand the changes, the sooner you can act strategically. In the next section, I'm going to break down exactly what each major change means, including deadlines, documentation requirements, and potential pitfalls that could trip up even the most careful applicants. You'll also get tips on how to stay ahead, avoid mistakes, and take advantage of opportunities that many people overlook. So stick with me, because what comes next is going to give you the tools, confidence, and clarity to face these immigration changes head on. We're going to take something that feels overwhelming and break it down into simple, actionable steps. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do, exactly when to do it, and how to protect your family and your future.